just falls back.
Everett's just mad because Everett can't do slides.
No, Everett did slide, and then about broke his damn leg doing it.
That's what I mean by
yeah,
can't do slides.
I think that's what you mean.
The worst one was the one at freaking Industrial Nightmare, because they made sure that thing would shoot you out at 70 miles an hour.
So they put turtle wax on.
Yeah.
That's true.
As soon as I got out of it and hit the ground, Everett was behind me. I said, Everett's not even going to do it. I knew it immediately.
Yeah.
Right now.
Next thing you know, it's shoot,
Bam!
son of a
like
Flipping out of Industrial Nightmare.
Like watching Danny DeVito shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
We should send that to him.
Oh, dude, it was like, no, as soon as I got there, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, this should be, like, literally, I sat down, was getting ready, waiting for Josh to get out of the way, but the second I sat down, it was so damn slick. It was just, oh, God!
You don't know how to stop yourself on a slide?
No, dude, the whole damn thing was like...
He can't do slides. His body can't do it.
By the time I was like...
There's so much...
His little legs can't. His little legs can't. His legs are stout. He can run. But they're not long enough for him to... You know, people do the kip up. I can't do that either. Right. But I'm saying Everett is the opposite of the kip up. He just rolls over. Like
He's very torpedo-like.
His legs are short and stout. He can run, but he can't. He can't leap onto his legs. He can't land on his feet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like the opposite of a cat.
Yeah.
Escape the norm.
Welcome to Escape the Norm, your escape from the real world and pathway into all forms of entertainment. I'm Josh, here with Everett, Joe, and Deidre. Exciting week, guys. We got a ton of great stories. A lot of stuff has happened in the last week, but first, it's been a rough week for Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Kim's life was threatened, and here to send her a special message is Everett. Go ahead, Everett.
Yes. See, normally we don't blame victims, when a crime is committed against them, because that's just wrong. But in this case, no, I'm going to blame you. Why, in God's name, would you decide, you know what's a good idea while I'm here? I'm going to take pictures of all my jewelry, all this expensive shit that I have, and post it on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Tinder. I may just go to the window and just yell at everybody I have it. Please come rob me because I'm a dumb bitch. Why? And, another quick question is, where in the fuck was your security? They'll bum rush anybody trying to get an autograph or anything of that nature. But when you're tied up, begging for your life, they're just, taking a coffee break? Is that what happened here? I mean, why? Why? Tell me why. Maybe, just as a thought, let's not flaunt all this expensive shit, especially in Paris, of all fucking places to go. And I'm sure you were in a nice, rich hotel that had security, so maybe you won't ask about how these people got in the first place. But then ask yourself the question, damn, why am I so stupid to flash a great big wad of cash and just tell everybody my room number and say, please come rob me? And, I mean, also, you probably pissed off a lot of people at that concert that, Kanye had to leave because you use a dumb bitch. It's like, thank you. That has been my public service announcement for Kim Kardashian.
Okay. The thoughts and opinions and pretty much everything about Everett Brewer is not representative of the thoughts and opinions of anyone else in the world, but especially on this podcast. So, Kim, if you're listening, I just want you to know that I am very sympathetic. I understand when you've got a lot of jewelry and stuff, you want to show it off. Why else have it? And I don't think it's fair that somebody came in and tried to take all that from you. So I'm just saying I sympathize. Everett doesn't, because Everett,
He's a monster.
he's a monster. But I sympathize, and I know that, if it was me, I wouldn't have been doing a concert. I'd have been right there to help you. I would have protected you. Kanye won't. This is what you need to know about your baby daddy. He was off doing a concert somewhere,
entertaining thousands of paying customers.
Yeah, so I would have helped you.
Putting fish sticks in his mouth.
I would have helped you. Everett wouldn't have helped you. He would have laughed. He would have been like, ha ha, but not me. You worked hard for that jewelry. I mean, you had to bang Ray J. Because she had to bang Ray J. That motherfucker is ugly as hell. All right, now. He is. He's ugly as shit. I don't care. He is. He's ugly as hell. He's in the middle of the sex tape. You're trying to see Kim Kardashian and then Ray J's face.
Yeah. It's boner killer.
Yeah. Just awful. He's an awful, awful man. He probably did it. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it right now. He did it. There you go.
It's all Ray J.
Case solved. Okay, so we got plenty of good news this week. Who's going first?
I'll go.
All right, Joe's going to go first with some gaming and comic news.
Gaming and comics.
Hey guys, Joe here with the comics and gaming news. First off, man, my heart goes out to Kim. Losing $10 million worth of shit. Hey, but I read an article recently that said she didn't want that $4 million ring that was stolen back. So maybe
Ray J probably gave it to her.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, so anyway, moving on to the docket of stuff. I got a lot of comics news, believe it or not, and only one video game story. Well, two. I don't know. Have any of you guys been reading any of the new Marvel stuff? No,
not
exactly.
Any of the new stuff.
Exactly.
I know of things. I know there's an Iron Heart now.
Yes, exactly. And Marvel is doing, I don't want to say it's doing a shit job with their comics, but an argument could be made. One of the first things is, of course, we're talking about, how they're killing off the mutants. And that is no more apparent than in the Death of X #1 that just recently came out. The Death of X is... So basically, the Inhumans have released a Terrigen. They released a Terrigen bomb. I believe like a couple events back, and a giant Terrigenic mist is like going around the planet, which is all right, fine. It just makes new Inhumans. But now, recently, we've seen that whenever the Terrigen mist affects mutants, it makes them sterile, and it kills them horribly. So this is Marvel's swan song event for mutants. We just got them back, a couple of years ago. Yeah, now we're just going to kill them all off. Marvel really wants that mutant money, and they're going to try to get that any way they can.
Yeah, they're not being real subtle about this whole killing off any characters they don't have movie rights to.
Yeah, that's and the whole pushing the Inhumans thing, which is fine, but all right. Next up, speaking of Marvel, we're gonna keep on that same train. Captain America #5, which ties into Civil War 2. Now, I was watching Comicstorian on his channel when he was talking about it, and he was saying it was kind of bullshit because Civil War 2, if you notice, it's Iron Man and Captain Marvel arguing the Minority Report thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what you didn't notice is, who's the villain? And you were just like, so you're sitting here just thinking to yourself, well, who's the villain? It's just, two main characters arguing a stupid point that has been proven in a movie, no less.
That's how the first Civil War was too, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was more. But there was more substantial, and you had time. You had like over 60 years worth of backstory with Captain America and Iron Man. Being a part of a team, so that made the split whenever it happened way better. Or not better, but it made it more believable.
Mm-hmm.
So when Civil War II happened, Captain Marvel and Iron Man have only been together in continuity for not that long, only a couple months, and then they start fighting. So I'm gonna have to spoil it because it was bullshit. Civil War, I guess the last issue of Civil War that came out didn't really explain anything. It just showed Spider-Man killing or gravely wounding Captain America, which put just made a lot of people just go, meh. And so basically, somebody told Comic Story in his comments that he had to read Captain America #5 to figure out what had happened in Civil War II, and it kind of explains everything, which I think is bullshit because you shouldn't have to buy a tie-in book for something that happens in the main story. It's like DLC now. I hate that.
It's like Rebirth when they tease the Watchmen thing, and then they don't tell you where the Watchmen thing's going to show up. And they think that I'm really going to buy
all those books,
50 issues of a month, just for the hopes that one of them's going to explain the Dr. Manhattan part of it. No, I'm not. I'm just gave up because
horseshit.
Yeah.
So basically, here's the rundown of Captain America #5. Steve Rogers is the villain. All right. Back, I guess, whenever they started the all different Marvel, they started with one of the stories, Escape from Pleasantville or Pleasant Hill or whatever it was, which was basically a prison. And Captain America went there as an old man, and he came back as his normal self.
Reese Witherspoon in that?
Probably.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, he came back due to some muckery with the Cosmic Cube. And that Cosmic Cube is that's a whole thing. And so when it came in there, it looks like Red Skull either messed with Captain America's mind and made him think he's an agent of Hydra, or the Cosmic Cube, when it reset him, made him believe that he is also a member of Hydra. So Steve Rogers, for all intents and purposes, is an agent of Hydra. And he's trying to take it from the Red Skull. And so he's been setting up all these visions that Ulysses has been having. He's been setting it up and basically doing the whole thing of Minority Report. So, yeah, we're just rehashing that movie. And it's complete and utter bullshit and a waste of $4. So, there you go. If anything, I've saved you $5. I'm having to download a crappy comic book about, one of the greatest symbols of freedom, fighting for the Nazis, which will be, again, at the next continuity flip, will be changed back to normal, and it'll be as if nothing ever happened. The next comic story I have is Legend of Korra #1. Scheduled for January 2017. It kind of picks up where the show left off. I don't know if, Deidre, did you watch The Legend of any of the Avatar, Last Airbender?
Not yet. I was going to.
Oh, well, you don't know what you're missing. It's good stuff.
I've heard it's good.
Oh, yeah.
To get to it.
Legend of Korra wasn't as good as Avatar, but yeah. So the first issue, or I guess the first arc, is going to be called Turf Wars, and basically it's again, humans have never learned their lesson messing with the spirits. So again, there's going to be more spirit versus human conflict, and another seedy individual who's probably Varric, who wants to set up the spirit portal that Korra and Asami walked into at the end of the last season, or at the end of the last series. They want to set that up as an amusement park. So that's all well and good, but that's going to bring more conflict into, and so it'll be kind of interesting to see Korra and Asami and all of them go through their trials with this comic series. So I'll be interested in seeing it. All right, now on to video game news. It's been confirmed by Ubisoft that Assassin's Creed and possibly Far Cry, there'll be no sequels until at least 2018. The reason, and you may ask yourself, why? I like the last Assassin's Creeds. No, you didn't. You just bought them because you were kind of hoping that there was going to be some kind of story there that would drag you in. And you're at least hoping that the gameplay would be fun.
The gameplay hasn't changed in 9 games.
They changed it with Unity. You remember how in every Assassin's Creed before Unity, you could like sit there and insta kill people. Like you'd be surrounded by dudes, and then they all just come in there, and then you could just like counter and kill them. Well, they took that. Yeah, they took that out.
Of course.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite part because it was just so difficult having to run around and like have to individually fight people.
Yes.
So they're citing the reason why is, of course, the poor reception of Unity, which, yeah, Renaissance France is kind of shit after, the golden age of piracy. That was way more fun. And the poor sales of Syndicate, which, yeah, I red-boxed it, played through half of it. Haven't red-boxed it again. I'm waiting for it to come on Xbox Live.
Assassin's Creed Red Box.
Yes, exactly. Ooh, that's good.
Your ancestor.
Yeah, that's what.
5 years ago, your ancestor rented a game from Redbox.
Mm-hmm.
Set in motion an apocalyptic event.
Now, Ubisoft's looking to do is try to do some major overhauls and try some different approaches with the game. My suggestion: just make it fun. Give us ancient Japan because we've all been wanting that. And they're wanting to do some mechanics and control system adjustments, which they need because trying to hold the left trigger and the right trigger while you're trying to run up a wall to free run and then letting off one of the buttons to free run is bullshit. At least make a better system. And lastly, they're talking about the next game, if it does come out, will be set up in 2018. Lastly, Batman VR. We just saw earlier in the day, we saw the 12-minute epic epic story of
how Bruce Wayne lost his arms.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first 12 minutes of Batman VR.
So many people are going to die playing that game. Seizures. It's the same.
Oh, yeah. And so with that, let's get into the discussion.
Yeah, seizure getting. That's going to be Batman. It's Batman VR.
Again, you don't have arms. Your hands float and then disappear.
You got disembodied hands.
Give me a holodeck, or I've said this so many times on the show. Give me a holodeck already, or stop giving me shit. As far as I'm concerned, this is just like Virtua Boy. Like, just...
Oh, God, Virtua Boy.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Virtua Boy.
I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I wear glasses.
Dearly departed. Trailer park
AAA games that are $20 don't appeal to me, so, I'm sorry. It's a $20 game. I don't care. And people are going to get dizzy, and you're going to be fighting Nightwing, and you're going to fall over your couch, or... heaven forbid you play it on more than something higher than a first story.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They recommend
going to grapple, People are going to start falling out of high-rises.
They recommend you have 60 feet of open space. I don't know anybody that has a room with 60...
Who has 60... Probably the same people that can afford to spend $800 to play the game.
Exactly. Yeah, and just looking at it, just on a computer screen, looking at it from the first person, I was like getting like all motion sick. So just imagine you having that damn thing on your head, and you have the PlayStation Move. They're just rehashing a bunch of old paraphernalia that the Sony had, because they still have the Move sticks, which is what you're using with your hands. And then you have...
So it's the
You have to grab things. From the footage we saw, he had to play the piano to get into the Batcave.
Right.
Okay. So you have to press individual keys on the piano.
Mm.
I can just imagine how frustrating that's going to be when all you can do on the move stick is just press a button and move the move stick down to try to find the exact key you have to hit.
I think with the move sticks, there's one it's like the Wii's nunchucks. There's like one for movement, and there's one with buttons on the other side.
Well, if it was true virtual reality,
Yeah, we
you would
just
have
use our
gloves,
hands. Yeah,
and you would have the gloves correspond to your finger movements.
you know,
But if that were the case, the game wouldn't be $20. It would be $150.
You know what they should have done? Since they're rehashing everything, they should have just got the Power Glove from the
Yes,
Nintendo.
sure.
You sync up the Power Glove, then you can just you could almost be Batman because you'll probably be
You'll spend enough money during this game to be
you'll
Batman.
pretty much
coincidentally,
be
so-
Bruce Wayne to afford it. Only Bruce Wayne can afford
Only
it.
Bruce Wayne could afford $800 to buy a video game system to pretend to be Bruce Wayne.
Anything else about our about the comic bullshit?
Well, when you say,
I mean, it is.
when you say it that way,
It is
I'm
complete bullshit.
excited. Which part's bullshit? Captain America being
yeah.
the Hydra?
No. That's fine because that's going to be reset.
He's technically the Nazis' ideal
Yeah.
guy already. I mean,
Yeah.
blonde, blue eyes.
Uh-huh.
He really is what the Nazis were trying to accomplish. So it's kind of weird that he ended up being the symbol for America because really
Oh yeah.
he should have been Jewish.
He was created by Jewish writers.
Well, so was
Yeah.
Superman and
Mm-hmm.
Batman and you know.
Was Batman?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought Bob Kane was Jewish.
Probably.
Maybe not.
Who knows?
What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just that the fact that you have to pay for another tie-in book to read something that's going on in a complete, in the actual storyline, which is what they're doing now. So,
Well, again, I told you it's like Rebirth. The most interesting part about that first issue of Rebirth was the Dr. Manhattan thing at the end.
right.
So I read the first couple issues of Batman and Superman and the first couple issues of Detective Comics and Action Comics to correspond with the Batman and Superman, which, again, I haven't read comics regularly in a long time, so I still don't understand how it chronologically even works because they have concurrent stories happening in the same continuity with the same characters.
Like, at the same time.
At the same time. It's confusing anyway. They're setting up all these other stories, and all I'm thinking the whole time is, no, I want to know more about the Dr. Manhattan thing.
Right.
When and Batman finds comedian's pin
Yeah.
in the Batcave, and it's like, okay, is he gonna follow up on this? Nah, he's gonna stop a plane from crashing into a building in Gotham, and then he's gonna do this other thing where these other people are hunting down vigilantes in the main Batman title, and it has nothing to do with Watchmen at all. And I don't care about any of those characters. I don't care about Batwoman, and I don't care about
His team.
His team.
I'm actually thinking I'm thinking that it's actually going to come together later on in the story, in the Batman stories, because apparently there's a villain named Mr. Oz who's going around. He's kidnapped Doomsday from the Superman stories, like the pre-New 52 Doomsday, and he kidnapped Tim Drake from the New 52 continuity. And he's holding them hostage. He's holding them somewhere off the board. He says.
I was afraid because Kid Flash found them.
Yeah.
That I was afraid that it was going to all have to tie in with the Flash comic, and I'm not reading the Flash comic, so
yeah.
I thought maybe it would get into it in Justice League. But by the time they released the first Justice League Rebirth title, I was already done.
Right.
I was already like, I'm not spending any more money on this until they tell me where it's going.
Yeah.
What's happening.
Yeah.
Because I'm only interested in the Watchmen part of it. So if they're trying to get me to buy 50 fucking comics a month,
They can forget it.
they can screw themselves. I'm not doing that. So
The stories seem interesting, but again, like you said, I don't want to pay $50 a month for all these comics, especially if I'm only going to read them once and then they just sit on my hard drive.
it's ridiculous to tie everything together to that extent. They're trying to use the Marvel movie model, which itself was copied from the comic model, with characters jumping from story to story, one big story with different characters on different arcs. It works in the movies because it's like one movie every 6 months.
Right.
It's easy to keep up with. You can't expect any regular person to spend $200-$300 a month on comics just to follow follow the whole story. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, especially if you got to buy like an obscure character like, I don't know, fucking Animal Man.
Yeah.
Buy Animal Man number 13, which is exactly what
Cyborg, watch him put Detroit back together.
Yeah.
And maybe at the end of it, the Rorschach will come out of the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell are you?
Where the hell am I?
There are a lot of whores in Detroit.
So what do you think about the death of X?
I think it's a cynical Marvel thing.
It reeks of childishness.
They don't have the rights to X-Men. They're not going to get the rights to X-Men, so they're just killing the X-Men. So same thing they did to Fantastic Four.
But did you see how the Fantastic Four ended compared to this?
No.
The way the Fantastic Four ended was like Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. They kind of had like a
love.
Probably, probably just finally just shut up and like bang.
Freaking in love with it. He spends more time thinking about Doom than he does Sue.
Yeah, so Reed Richards and Doctor Doom kind of have their thing out, and Doctor Doom finally admits that Reed is smarter than him because he had the powers of a god, and Reed managed to not only take them away, but managed to do something way better with them. So the Fantastic Four, as a family, go off into space to recreate all they go off into the multiverse to recreate the multiverse with Franklin Richards, well, basically all of them.
So Marvel broke all these different universes apart, put them all together, and is going to try to break them all apart again.
Pretty much.
It's like they bought a Mr. Potato Head.
Fucked it up.
They fucked it up. Now they're taking it apart and putting it back in the same thing it was in when they bought it.
Yeah. With in a Picasso fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again.
And then, like, the X-Men are just being like, oh, well, there's a disease, there's a killer cloud that's coming down. It's just going to wipe out all the mutants, even though there is, like, one mutant who can just,
It's called Fox.
Yeah, just move, can just move the cloud.
The cloud forms the face of Bryan Singer.
And
Bryan Singer single-handedly kills every single X-Men in the universe. Because they're playing corporate chicken with Fox, where they're just like, okay, well, Sony's playing ball with us. You could play ball with us, too.
That's not happening.
And they're like, well, yeah, but we've got like an 8-movie franchise and a whole continuity build up. And they're like, okay, that's cool. I mean, we can't do anything except totally kill every character and destroy all your source material.
Yeah.
I mean, no big deal.
Good luck making an original story.
Good luck making original stories when we're just going to destroy all the characters that you love. And then
eventually, after so many Josh Trank movies, they'll probably just sell them. They'll just probably sell the rights back.
Probably. But, yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's corporate cynicism at its finest.
It's childish spite right there.
America. All right, so who's going next?
I can go next.
All right, up next is Everett with Sports and Wrestling.
Sports and Wrestling.
Hello, everyone. This is Everett with your mostly wrestling news this week. We don't have a whole lot going on in the sports world. Nobody was shot or in NFL.
Odell threw a temper tantrum.
Odell did throw a temper tantrum. However, I'm waiting because that's going to be so much of a bigger story when he punches a fan who's heckling him in the stands. That is what's going to end up probably happening.
The refs have been told to watch other players with Odell.
Yeah, because they're all last year.
They don't want to provoke him. They're trying to watch and see if he's getting provoked. They're watching for players intentionally provoking him to get him penalized.
Yeah.
So they can penalize them to keep them from provoking him.
Yeah. Well, because if you get the new rule now, if you get 2 personal fouls, they throw you out of the game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of provocation.
Well, but I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot with Odell. Really, you just...
No, not a lot.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get some wrestling going here. Also, we have Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are expecting their first child in the spring. We'd like to congratulate them on the birth of their first baby goat.
Congratulate them on having sex.
Yeah. It's
Good-
like,
good job.
yep. In some other news, Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto, whatever the hell you want to call him when he's not with the WWE, it doesn't really matter. And Jamie Noble got stabbed last week. With each incident came from a road rage incident too, which is I find fairly interesting. Noble was going home to the trailer park. I wish I was lying about that or making fun of him for that, but no, he literally was going home to his trailer, and a guy had followed him, claiming he had run him off the road. Noble apologized, trying to not escalate anything. Well, the guy then proceeded to start fighting him. Noble, of course, being a former wrestler, in pretty good shape, just got him down pretty quick. But then another passenger jumped out of the car and stabbed Noble. He had to be rushed into emergency surgery because the knife penetrated his lung, and his lung was filling with blood. He sent out descriptions, was offering rewards to anybody on Facebook who can give him name, and if they get arrested, he's going to give them an additional award. So there's that for you out there. And Alberto Del Rio, while he was in San Antonio, was involved in an auto accident where the guy hit Del Rio's car. They got into an altercation. Del Rio then got stabbed. The guy got away after Del Rio got the knife taken from him. The incident had a bunch of witnesses. The problem with this incident, though, is there's no record of a police report as of yet. Now, he could have went to a different police precinct and filed a report, anything of that nature, but they haven't found it as of yet, so we'll have to see where that goes. It's like, also, before we get on to the bigger story, which will take up most of our conversation at time, it's like there have been serious discussions with Bill Goldberg about a return to face Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. And I know what you're thinking, oh my God, not again. But yes, here we go, right down that road. So, hey, we get forward to look for that sometime too. Now let's move on to the big story, TNA Death Watch.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. As most of you know, TNA has had a lot of financial problems. Wrestlers haven't been getting paid on time. Some of the support staff haven't been paid at all. And this last weekend was Bound for Glory. There were serious concerns that was the pay-per-view was even going to go off. They managed to get an infusion of money, probably from Daddy Carter, to get them through the weekend, and they're funded through the rest of the year. So for the rest of this year, they're almost safe. The problem is we're not too sure who's going to buy them. There are two main people wanting to buy them right now. Of course, one of them is the WWE. What they want is the TNA video library. That way we can get comprehensive videos for Joe, AJ Styles, anybody who was in TNA that don't have access to that footage. Billy, what was his last name? Corgan. He wants to buy it because he's always wanted to own a wrestling company. More power to him for that. If I had that kind of money, I would too, I guess. But he's already a minority owner in the company. But Dixie had a meeting with the talent. It was yesterday, I believe, right before the Impact tapings. And Corgan wasn't there, which upsets some of the wrestlers because they believe he's a straight shooter and would have told them everything honestly. Even though he was invited, he declined to come. It's like she told him pretty much, hey, we're funded throughout the rest of the year. Now, if WWE buys the whole entire company, which is what some people are asking, why not? Almost all the wrestlers, when their contracts were bought out, would have to sign a no-compete clause. The problem with that is none of their contracts are really binding to TNA, except probably some of the major stars. So that means they couldn't go out immediately and get jobs in the independents. Corgan, if he goes through with his part and they just buys the company and not the video library, they would have to rebrand. So TNA, no matter what, for all intents and purposes, would be gone and dead. You could pay $9.99 a month to watch it on the WWE Network anytime you wish, but let's face it. If Vince did anything like he did when he bought, WCW and freaking ECW will just become whatever he wants to turn into, a bastardized product. So that way they can come in feud, give them some titles, and then have them get their ass beat. It's like, and with that, we'll open it up for discussion.
So TNA was once again almost deleted. And, and survived yet again. This company will not die. Much like Matt Hardy, will not die. This company will not. You think they're 4 seconds away. They're getting ready to pull the plug, and it just won't happen.
It's like they're getting ready to unplug. They forgot to unplug it, and the power's out, and it's running on a generator. The generator's just about out of gas.
Yeah.
And nobody's putting more gas in it. So
they just will not die.
Yeah.
My favorite rumor is the rumor that WWE is going to buy the tape library, and Billy Corgan's going to buy the rest of it, the wrestler contracts, the rings, the production stuff, and he's going to rename the company and run a wrestling company the way he wants to with the stuff that's already there to do it with, and then give WWE the only thing the WWE cares about, which is all the video library.
The only contracts they would probably care to buy out would be Matt and Jeff. Lashley. They would probably buy out some of the female wrestlers.
Maybe Maria, maybe Gail Kim.
Yeah.
And that's
maybe what's her name from
they might get EC3.
Rosemary.
They might get EC3 because he's young.
Yeah.
But again,
they could possibly even buy out Anderson's contract, I guess. But
all they care about is the tape library. And it's not because of AJ and Joe. It's because of Angle, Sting, Hogan, Flair, Foley,
a bunch of
every
others.
WWE star booker that was in TNA for any period of time. There's footage of them doing stuff. Yeah. They can make DVDs about that now. They can make documentaries. They can bury Vince Russo some more. It's their favorite thing to do.
They do that every day.
They can put all of it on the network. They can make a Sting comprehensive DVD now because that's 9 years of his career that they don't have access to. They can make bukus of money off the footage and pay very little for it. Yeah. Because the reason they can pay very little for it is because no other wrestling company has the infrastructure to make any money off this tape library. No other wrestling company. They have a network. WWE is a network in place that is specifically for this reason they can do that. The best thing to happen is WWE gets the tape library. That's it. Yeah. Billy Corgan gets the rest of it. Nobody loses their job. Billy Corgan gets to run the company the way he wants to run it. Vince gets all the shit that he cares about. Everybody, now we get all that footage on the network so we can watch it anytime we want. Yeah. And if we want to go along with Billy Corgan on his new thing, we can do that. It's the perfect scenario, and I would bet anything Dixie Carter ruins it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Corgan will probably offer her probably whatever at this point, how much money he can ever give her. The problem is Vince can probably offer her so much more money that Daddy Carter probably would just look at her and say, take the money.
I mean, it's no big deal for Vince just to buy the tape library and let them have the rest of it. I mean, that's, he's not going to buy the whole company. If he buys the whole company, they may as well shut down the company. Because they're not going to keep that company going.
No, they wouldn't. No, they, like I said, they buy just a few of the contracts out, re-sign them, and everybody else would go like, "Hey, piss off."
I mean, it's been
2002, I think. Was it? I'm right, 2002.
I believe so.
So here we are in 2000.
14 years. Yeah. This company has been around longer than WCW was around.
Yeah,
it's already been alive longer than WCW. It just won't die. Nobody wants it to die because once it dies, there's no other number 2 wrestling company. But it's been run so horribly. So anytime they get anything good, they ruin it immediately.
The second that Jarrett got bought out, that was pretty much a nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would argue that they were messing it up when they messed up Samoa Joe and they had him as this big star and then they sacrificed him to the main event Mafia. That was before Hogan and Bischoff ever showed up.
Yeah.
And then once Hogan and Bischoff showed up,
It got even worse.
well, when you got a show with Jeff Hardy, Hogan, Bischoff, Jarrett, Flair, the AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, when you've got 900 main event guys and you're trying to do 80 storylines, nothing that's happening matters.
They tried to redo the Monday Night Wars at the complete and total wrong time.
Yeah, and they failed, and they didn't stick with it either, and that failed. And now WWE is only pulling in $1.5 million. You know, they could have stuck with it and caught them if they had just waited. But again, they didn't wait for the right time to do it. And when you've got, again, it wasn't just in front of the camera. Behind the scenes at one point, there was Bischoff, Hogan, Dixie Carter, Jeff Jarrett, Vince Russo. That's 5 Type A personalities all trying to do their own vision
Run it the way they want to
at
run
the
it.
same exact time.
Ugh.
And nobody was getting their full vision out. So you had this big convoluted show.
Yeah.
And even still, I long for those days because that's still better overall and more interesting than what
what we
TNA
got.
did after they lost all the money and then lost everybody. They lost Angle, they lost AJ, they lost Joe, they lost Bobby Roode. And they lost all these people, and the whole thing just, it was too much all at once, and then it was nothing.
Yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden, it's like, here are these guys, they're stars too. No, they're
No.
not. You know, and
I
they're
mean, don't get me
not.
wrong. This is the most interesting Matt Hardy's been his entire career.
Yeah, but it's too little too late as far
Yeah.
as the whole company is concerned.
Yeah.
You know, they've gone down a rabbit hole that they can't get out of because they spent way too much money on people that they thought just putting those people on TV. WCW proved you can get as many big name stars as you want to.
Oh, they were signing these huge contracts.
You could
left and
sign
right.
anybody, but if your creative is stupid and it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't matter. You can hire anybody. You can hire Tom Hanks to be in your movie, but if your movie is about a guy who stands on the side of the road and sells hot dogs, nobody's going to give a shit. Like, you have to have a good story and good creative. You can hire Bret Hart and Kurt Hennig and Hulk Hogan and whoever you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also, and some of the wrestlers already are setting themselves up for returns to the WWE. Lashley's already talked about how he'd want to face Lesnar
Lashley's been talking about fighting Brock Lesnar for 10
years. Yeah.
10 years, Robbie Lashley's been talking about fighting Brock Lesnar. And I would pay cash money to see it. I mean, I really would like to see that. So that would be something if Bobby Lashley, if they do get totally bought by WWE. But I don't think they're going to. And
It all depends on how much. Corgan has to be smart here. He has to. He can't piss Dixie off. He pisses her off one good time. She just gets on the phone to Vince like, hey, it's yours. Sells it immediately. Doesn't take any time.
Yeah. Dixie Carter is the linchpin of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to if her ego will not allow her to give it up, even though she knows nothing about the wrestling business.
I mean, Corgan, for as much of a minority partner owner he is, he's still just a minority owner. He doesn't own the majority.
Well, again, the rumor has it right now that he's got majority control now and that WWE is going to have a tape library. But again, it's just a rumor this second. So, but that would be the best
That'd be
situation
the best scenario.
for everybody. Because right now you can't watch old TNA stuff on anything but YouTube.
Yeah.
Or you can buy DVDs off their website, maybe. I mean, who knows?
If you're lucky.
But if WWE buys it, they'll put all that crap on the network over time. They won't put it all up at once, but over time, they'll put all that on there. You'll get to see all the great X Division matches. You'll get to see all the crazy shit they had Foley and Sting doing over the years, and it's just the best situation for everybody. So I hope that's what happens.
I almost forgot about Jarrett's new company that had the ring collapse.
GFW.
Yeah,
taping and the ring collapse. So
that tells you how well that's going.
So it's not easy to run a wrestling company, especially when the main one in the entire world isn't doing that great.
No. And it's their own fault that they're not doing that great.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. By next week, we should know something. But I said that 2 weeks ago.
I don't think now. I say it will be closer now that they're fully funded for until the end of the year.
Well, I guess
Dixie-
they bought themselves
yeah.
3 months.
Yeah,
I mean, they
Dixie
bought
will
themselves 3
Dixie will
months.
take her time. She'll sit down with both parties
Hmm.
and she'll try to figure out the best deal. She's gonna figure out the best deal for her.
Right.
She don't give a shit about the rest of it. The best deal for her will be whoever's probably gonna give her the most money and compensation. Because for all we know, in 3 months from now, Dixie Carter will show up on Raw. It's like, hey, I'm your new Raw GM.
There is no way in hell
Vince would
Vince
do that.
McMahon is putting Dixie Carter on his television program for any reason.
But who the hell
Number
knows?
one, nobody knows who Dixie Carter is or cares about who Dixie Carter is. Number two, she's not great at acting. Number three, there's no reason for it. He doesn't have to do it.
He doesn't have to do it, but who says this is Vince McMahon we're talking about? There's a lot of shit he doesn't have to do and shouldn't do. He does it anyway. Why?
Okay, well,
because
it's
fuck
gotta have
you. That's
gotta have
why.
a
That's
reason.
pretty much.
He's
That's his
gotta have
reason.
A reason to put
Yeah.
Dixie Carter on TV that makes any kind of sense.
I mean, that's his reason. We start out Raw this week with Roman Reigns
Oh, yeah.
cutting a promo.
Yeah.
Why? Because fuck you all. That's
Well, I
why.
honestly believe he's more attracted to Roman Reigns than he is Dixie Carter.
Well, hell, when Braun Strowman first showed up, he's like, "Is it my birthday?"
Yeah. So there you go. TNA may be dead or not. I don't know. But we'll find out soon. The TNA Death Watch continues.
Dun,
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 dun.
Yeah, we-
Dun, dun, dun. Get you next.
Who is
That's
next?
it. Cut.
No. You gotta cut. You gotta throw to
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who is next?
Dieter's next.
Deidre. All right.
Deidre's
So
next.
now we'll move on to Deidre, who has some news, probably Kardashian related. We don't know.
Music and animation.
Hi, this is Deidre with Music and Animation News. I decided to switch it up today and go with animation first because I thought it was a little more interesting this time around. Let's start with Adventure Time. They announced that they're going to start their final season, so that means that they're going to end after season 9 in 2018. That's the bad news. The good news is that season, which is currently in production, the final run will have 142 half hours of content, including new episodes, mini-series, specials, and something they said more. We don't know what more is. But if it's more than all that, who knows? Maybe they'll do a music video or something. So that should be cool. I mean, it's sad that it's ending, but at least it's going to have a lot of content coming. I mean, basically you're getting a few more seasons all at once as far as how much content you're getting. So there's that, at least, for fans of Adventure Time. Archer has also announced that they're going to be ending, but the silver lining to that one is that it's going to be another 3 seasons from now. The next season, season 8, they've said that Archer's going to be in a coma for, I've heard, the whole season, so that should be fun. They suggested that might go more into him figuring out who his dad is, but we don't know any details about that either. And there's going to be 8 episodes per season for those 3 final seasons, so kind of mixed news there. I mean, they're going to be short seasons, but at least we get 3 more. You know, I'd much rather them end soon than to go on for longer than their actual, shelf life. So at least there's that. South Park, the season 20 premiere happened not too long ago. News came out that they had the most viewers in that episode, 3.7 million viewers. They've had the most since 2006. So that was highly popular. It was called Member Berries, and it had lots of modern day references to the election, to Joss Whedon doing a remix of the anthem, and all sorts of really modern takes on things. So that got a lot of viewers. It's the highest cable premiere of 2016 so far, so that's cool. Now is obviously the time to get back into South Park if you haven't been watching that for a while. In season 28, The Simpsons is going to hit episode number 600. So starting Thanksgiving Day, at 12 p.m., it'll be 13 days of another marathon for The Simpsons. It's going to be 300 hours because they have 600 episodes, so if you missed it last time, that's 13 different days you can tune in and catch some of The Simpsons if you want to see some of that. Last thing I have in animation for today is the new Lion King movie that they're working on. Disney's been doing all these good old reboots, bringing some of the original music back to the new versions of things and going from traditional cartoon-style animation to high-tech computer jungle sort of animation. They brought the same guy who did the Jungle Book named Jon Favreau, I think is how you say that, I'm guessing. Josh, do you know?
Favreau. Yeah, he directed the Jungle Book and Iron Man 2.
and he's going to be working on The Lion King, right? Yes, The Lion King. I keep getting them mixed up, trying to keep up with all the different reboots between Beauty and the Beast and Lion King and everything else. I'm thrilled about it, but it makes it hard to keep up sometimes.
There's a lot of them.
Right. So that's good news. That should be fun. Maybe he'll go in a room and come out with a masterpiece like he did last time. Okay, on to music. That single that I announced and promised you a little while back between The Weeknd and Daft Punk has come out. It's called Starboy. It rocketed straight up. I just checked earlier. It's number 3 on the Billboard Top 100 right now. So if you want to go on YouTube and see Abel Tesfaye, or Mr. The Weeknd, however you want to call him, if you want to see him in a weird music video where he drives a car with a tiger in the passenger seat, then go to YouTube and check that out. It's a pretty catchy song. I'll give you that. All right. Second in music news, this is a hard name for me to say. I had to look up the pronunciation of Solange Knowles. That's Beyonce's 5-year younger sister. She released an album on the last day of September. It's called Seat at the Table. And it's her 3rd studio album. I didn't know she did music at all, so I thought I'd announce that, even though I'm obviously late to the game. She hasn't done any in a while, so this is her first new content in a long time, and Beyonce posted encouragement online saying it was a work of art and a masterpiece. So if you're ever curious to see if Beyonce's sister can sing too, check that out, because it was released digitally last day of September. If your tastes trend more to the old than the new, the Backstreet Boys are going to do a residency in Las Vegas. Josh looks thrilled. They booked 18 shows at the Axis Theater at the Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So between March and July 2017, they're going to have 18 gigs there. They've promised that every gig will be a, quote, one-of-a-kind, over-the-top production. So yeah, Josh is pumped. I don't know if the other two are, but...
I'm excited.
Backstreet's
Backstreet's
back.
back. All right.
Yeah.
Next piece of news is just a quick mention. I told you before that Adam Levine and his Victoria's Secret wife, secret model wife, were going to have a baby.
Name?
She has a name, and it's...
There's no
Victoria's
legal
Secret.
name, just Victoria's Secret wife.
Well, it's like Behati Prinsloo, which is...
Never mind. All right.
What
you're right.
the-
Which
Yeah,
is
no.
why I didn't say it
You're
before.
right.
Victoria's
Oh,
Secret
mighty
wife
damn.
just falls off the tongue.
Well, that's the important thing to me, because they're both genetically superior. So them
Right.
having a baby,
Right.
which they've named Dusty Rose Levine.
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rose.
Oh.
Rose.
Not
Dusty
Dusty Rhodes.
They're planning on her being a stripper. Go ahead.
Nice.
So
She's
yeah,
just a common stripper.
that was just something I wanted to mention, just because those two are so gorgeous. And kids they have are bound to be gorgeous too, so keep your eye on that.
You're on their kids.
On their kids. Don't tell them that I told you to keep your eye on their kids, because I won't admit to it.
Creepos.
My next to last piece is kind of random, but I thought it was interesting, so I thought I'd throw it in. Apparently, when NASA launches probes and whatever, let's see, which
Spaceships?
one? That is the wrong one.
They don't do that.
Voyager, there it is. They attach a golden record to it. It's a 12-inch gold-plated phonograph record. It has sounds, images, and greetings in 55 different languages. Basically, it's an amalgamation of human culture. They attach it to the spacecraft, and then they have instructions with it that tell anyone who encounters it how to actually play it and view the images and stuff that are on it. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is, and there are like 2 in existence. And someone did like a Kickstarter campaign to try and get them to release those images and things. So they're going to come out with, if they get enough money, they're going to come out with a copy you can buy. So you can see all the messages that we're sending out to space, so that if aliens encounter one of our spacecraft, they'll know more about us.
And this is the reason why the rest of the galactical galaxies think of us as
Galactical
McDonald's
galaxy.
just to stop getting a snack on their way home.
Because we dared to say hi.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, they're seeing the human culture. Well, it's like, well, no, time to keep going.
They saw
Not if
that
they put Backstreet Boys out
Yeah.
there.
they saw that Kim Kardashian got robbed, and they said we're going to steer
It's like,
clear.
pick
of
up,
that
pick up the cow. We'll eat on the way home.
If Kim Kardashian's not safe, none of us are safe.
I see Brangelina broke up, and it's just. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've seen all the hardship we've encountered
soon.
lately.
Yeah.
But that was just a random piece that caught my attention, so I thought maybe someone else would find it interesting. The last piece of music news I have makes me sad, because I like ripping music. I probably shouldn't admit that on this, but who my age doesn't? I'm 25 years old. Who doesn't
Steel
do that?
music.
Apparently, a lot of people do because now the Recording Industry Association of America and another group on top of that, all with long, boring names, have announced their first stream ripping lawsuit against YouTubeMP3.org, which really sucks. Because, basically we had the music industry, albums, really expensive. You have to get 13 songs a pop if you want to buy any music. Then piracy came along. People got the kind of model they wanted where you can get a song at a time. The music industry went after that. And then streaming has kind of been the newer thing. Stream ripping from YouTube, that kind of thing, has been... Well, I figure most people either do that or direct streaming with services like Pandora and stuff. And enough people are doing it now that they've caught their attention, and they're going after that. So that lawsuit's going to come up soon. They have a whole list of plaintiffs, a bunch of different recording groups, entertainment,
Let me guess, Metallica, right?
That might be in there somewhere. It's a whole list of stuff. I don't see it
One
on
of
a
the plaintiffs is
plaintiff's
Metallica. Yeah, they love to sue their fans. If that's just something they love to do.
They're suing the German company that runs YouTube to MP3 of copyright infringement. So, they said it's one of the most visited sites in the world, has tens of millions of users, is responsible for upwards to 40% of all unlawful stream ripping of music from YouTube in the world. So they're going after it. As usual, we're figuring out ways to get music, and the music industry is coming after it with an iron fist. So, sad but true, that's what they're going after now, and that's my last piece of news for the day. So it's time to discuss.
So, but Metallica, right? They're just suing whoever the hell they can sue.
You've asked her 3 times. She's already said she didn't see
I
him.
didn't see...
I mean,
Number one, they wouldn't be they don't go to court as Metallica.
but who else?
Your Honor, my client, Metallica. Who else?
Is it just one? Is just one
Are
of
they
you
all
Metallica?
the same? Can we legally say that we are Metallica as a corporation? Are they the corporation of Metallica?
Incorporated.
Metallica Incorporated,
Ooh.
which is difficult to say, so they better hope they have a good lawyer.
Metallic Incorporated.
Metallicorp.
Metallicorp.
That's what it is. But now they're going to sue me for that because I said it.
So thanks, Everett,
Thank you, Everett.
for that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So, turn the page.
So they're going after
Yeah.
streaming company. So what?
They're
What's
going-
that?
If you go to these sites, you can type YouTube to MP3 or some similar thing in Google, right? And these sites come up, and you can go to them and copy a URL from YouTube and paste it and click convert, and then it gives you a file that's ripped. It's just the audio from the video, just all of it. So a fan made a video and they made an intro. Hey, this is me introducing this video. Then you're gonna get that too. It's not specific where you can cut it yourself.
Right.
It's just giving you a rip of the audio from the video.
Oh, yeah.
And so now they're going after.
I do that on Real Player can do that.
Mm.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
there's
you're
no
all going to
specific
jail because
Yeah.
I don't encourage any of this behavior.
If I have to pay for another comic book, I'm going to start doing it.
You don't pay for all the comic books you
That is true.
read now.
That's very true.
So you've already
Touche,
figured
sir.
out a way
Touche,
to,
sir.
I'm torn on it because on the one hand, I totally get that if we don't start paying for entertainment, there's not going to be any entertainment to have. So I understand that part of it. But like you said, at the same time, we used to buy albums all the time, and you'd get 13 songs, and you would
only
listen
want
to
the
4
one.
of them, if you're lucky. And every once in a while, you got lucky. 3 Doors Down, first album, pretty much start to finish, was good.
It was a total crapshoot.
Matchbox 20 first album. Great from start to finish. You found Back to
Goo Goo
Good.
Dolls.
A lot of people knew Back to Good before Back to Good ever came out. So that, they wouldn't have done it. Linkin Park's first album. Start to finish. Awesome. But
the
then,
reason you can name those specific ones is because
they're
the
so
clear
rare.
outliers.
Yeah, you
Yes.
can pick them out. Like, you can go back and there's so many albums filled with songs that you don't give a shit about. And being able to buy them individually was the operable way,
to do it.
It was
preferable
the
way to
more
do it.
operable way.
Do you remember back,
iTunes
you'd be going to FYE, and then they used to sell the singles on the CDs, and they were you're paying I don't know, $1, $2 for those single CDs that had the one song on it.
The problem with that, they did it with cassettes too.
Oh yeah.
Cassettes were these things that you put in that would play music off of little, very fragile
You put them in a
tape
box.
things.
Little
Film,
films.
yeah. Little tiny film.
Oh,
Film is this thing that they used to show movies on.
Our
Before
eight tracks.
They
Hey,
magically,
let's not blow their minds.
magically put images and sounds on this film thing, and then it magically
Yeah.
translates into something.
That's what they say when movies.
The thing about the singles was that it was a pain in the ass buying a whole CD to take up space in your CD collection for a one song.
Right.
Looking back on it now, the entire concept of CDs and cassettes
Completely
was
ass.
insane. Because now you can listen to all of music on the tiniest of tiniest devices. You can listen to it on your phone.
Right.
You don't even need a CD player in your car anymore. You just need an auxiliary. They could take
Plug it.
every CD player out of every car and just replace it with that little hole
Mm-hmm.
and plug it right in, and you can listen to all of music. So the whole concept is ridiculous, but unless we just don't want to have music anymore, there does have to be a way to compensate musicians, because right now musicians, the only money they're getting is off of live touring and live music, and you can't make anything
off that.
off of that. So
Ticket.
there has to be some, you'll go on YouTube, you'll watch a song, and there'll be an ad in front of it. That's acceptable to me. If they're getting compensated that way, that's acceptable to me. Vivo, Pandora has ads. If you don't want the ads, you pay, and you don't get the ads because they get the money directly. Hopefully that money gets back to the artist in some kind of way if they're licensing their music. That's fine. But there does have to be, as great as it was to just download whatever you wanted whenever you wanted to. But again, forcing them to download a whole album is still ridiculous.
Well, I've done stories on streaming before, and as of recently, the music industry has been picking up on streaming more, and they've been making more money from it. They've seen their first gain. What was it this year? They saw their first real gains in the music industry since piracy kind of gutted them because of streaming.
Because it's taken this long to get it all wrangled up and accountable.
And I do think streaming is mostly viable because you can get songs, but you don't have to pay $1.99 per song like you do on iTunes. You don't have to pay exorbitant prices for it. You can still look up something specific to listen to. The problem with it is, you remember the Nelly story I told you, how many times they'd have to stream his music to get him any significant amount of money, because they're getting like 0.00008 of a
He's
cent
making like chicken
per play.
change.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of both going on. I think streaming, it seems like a really good future for music, but they have to get around eventually to compensating the damn artists.
Yeah, the people who are making the music
Yeah.
seem to...
Because there's been too many middlemen for too long that take a piece of the pie.
Right. The Adventure Time,
Wow, they're really ending it, huh?
they're ending it. And I have to correct you because I told you wrong. The article I read was worded that way.
Mhm.
But the ninth season, 142?
What?
Episodes?
How many episodes they're going to have?
Yeah, 142, right.
It says, where is it? The final run will have 142 half hours.
Okay. The what they meant to say was the 8th season starts at the end of this year, and it's going to run through 2017.
Mhm.
And then the 9th season is going to run through 2018. The 142 half-hour episodes encompass season 8 and season 9.
Okay, because I read an article separately that also made me think that's
Right, it was worded crappy, but I read another article that cleared that up, which makes a little more sense. That's still... It's one thing to say, hey, there's only going to be one more season of this show. But some shows, you say there's only going to be one more season, and there's like 4 episodes, because they always do that now. They cut the final, like Archer, they're only going to do 8 episodes per season. Adventure Time fans, I'm sorry that you're upset, if you're upset about this at all, but 140, you've still got 142 more half hours worth of content. And I'm not surprised, because it's going to take 142 half hours to wrap Adventure Time up with the 40 million different mythologies they have going on at once. At the end of this, we're going to find out that Jake's grandchildren in the future are morphing into robots fighting alongside Finn's grandchildren with PB or the Flame Princess, if he ever figures out how to get with her without burning his cock off or whatever. But,
or the vampire chick over here.
Yeah.
or
Marceline.
Marceline. No, she's not into
Yeah,
She's not
she
into
already made
dudes.
that clear.
She's not into dudes. So,
Yeah.
but there's so much mythology that's going to take 142 episodes to wrap it all up. So it's sad that Adventure Time is going, but I mean, they're going with a massive amount of content. So I have
And that's
no
better
idea
than
how they
most-
make that much.
Makes you
That's
imagine-
better
makes
than
you-
most
It makes you
series
wonder
do.
when they finally, decide to end Steven Universe, how they're going to end that episode.
Steven Universe is not going to have 142 episodes.
It's just gonna be a massive
It's not.
bomb.
They haven't had 142 episodes, period. So I mean, and they are on season 4 now.
I guess I should have announced somewhere in my news that they stopped airing episodes all of a sudden.
Yeah, they stopped.
But
Airing
since I
episodes.
don't know any more details about that, it's
Stopped airing episodes of Adventure Time.
No,
Steven
season-
Universe,
oh.
they stopped this time around. They went on another hiatus. They don't delineate their seasons in a way where they stop when a season's over and then start later like a normal show.
All right.
In the middle of this big 30, 40 episode drop they just switched from season 3 to season 4, didn't tell anybody, didn't announce
Just
it.
did it.
If you didn't go to Wikipedia, you wouldn't have even known. And then they just, after a few weeks of having one new episode per week, they stopped.
And they didn't tell you they were going to stop. They didn't tell you when they were going to come back. In typical Steven Universe fashion. I love everything about the show except the fucking airing.
Except
And then Adventure Time gets 500 episodes.
Yeah, I'm so jealous.
But it's true to the mythologies of both shows, though, because Adventure Time needs that to
because
deal with
all the
vampires
all the wacky
and flame princesses and the Ice King and the Lynch and PB and the Candy Kingdom and the Mushroom War that happened before all that, the alternate universe. Adventure Time is massive. They need that. Steven Universe is not that sprawling. Like, it's the Gym World and that mythology, and then it's Beach City and its mythology.
Mm-hmm.
It's all told through the perspective of just
one
Steven.
person. Yeah.
So it's so much more linear that they couldn't possibly even make that many episodes without repeating themselves in some kind of way. So it makes sense, but it's
But it still doesn't justify dropping for no reason.
no, it never. There's no justification for their scheduling at all. Does anybody have anything else they would like to?
Talk about
No, I think we got the rest
South
of it.
Park,
Yeah.
The Simpsons, Backstreet Boys. Anybody?
You know,
I'm excited about the Backstreet Boys. They're the shit. NSYNC is not. NSYNC is they're posers.
They are shit.
They're posers. Backstreet Boys, those were
They
the
are the shit.
those were the guys. NSYNC, they were just posers. You got JT out of that and nothing else.
I was gonna say,
The Backstreet Boys are awesome and will always be awesome.
none of them had a successful solo career, did they?
JT did. None of them who.
Just-
He doesn't know who the hell JT is. Yeah, he's trying to figure out.
Backstreet Boys. I'm trying to because the only one I know from NSYNC that was Justin Timberlake had his.
He does know who JT is.
Oh,
No,
okay.
the article said most of the Backstreet Boys are dads now. So
Well,
I guess that's
so
what
now
they
they're Backstreet
Except for
Men.
Lance.
Lance isn't a Backstreet Boy. He's in sync. Get your shit.
Yeah, I get them. I get them. Yeah, see, I get them confused, and that's why I'm trying to understand.
Oh man, don't make me come over his table, dude. Backstreet Boys, 2 of them are from Kentucky,
That's
so
sad.
you gotta have some solidarity there.
Yeah.
You liked one Backstreet Boy song. You don't know which one it is, but
Yeah.
You don't know it. yet.
there's one Backstreet Boy song that you probably subconsciously know all the words to. 'Cause
That is
everybody
pro-
does.
that is
Larger
so
than life?
probably
Larger
true.
than life.
No, not larger than
Show
life.
me the meaning of being lonely.
You know they play that at Walmart a lot.
I know they do. Because they're trying to remind you guys how desperate and sad your lives are.
Uh-huh.
and how great it would be to run away to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And
Or
listen
buy a
to the
Backstreet Boys CD at Walmart, which is probably one of the only places you can buy a CD.
You know, the first place I got a Backstreet Boys CD was Burger King. No
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No lie. Little 6-song CDs
It
they
was
had. I
way
got
too
two.
Because you got Backstreet Boys, and they're all working for a Burger King. It's all precursor to Adventure Time.
Every time I think about back in that day and NSYNC and all that, I remember this photo on the internet.
Boy band
put
wars.
no, they put Justin Timberlake and ramen noodles next to each other because his hair looked exactly like ramen noodles back.
Wow.
It was like that blonde, wavy, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what
So,
I think of.
yeah, I'm excited. Backstreet's back.
Very real.
All right.
All right.
So, by process of elimination, Deidre, you want to tell us who's next?
Who is next?
It is. Drum roll, please.
We don't have drums.
Yeah,
Just
we'll try.
Everett, make it happen.
Wow, that's
Pretty close,
Yay.
actually.
pretty lame.
It's
Yeah, whatever.
Josh
Just do whatever.
with
All right.
movies and TV.
Movies and television.
Hey everybody, this is Josh with movies and television stuff. I don't have a lot of news. I just have like some pretty big stories, and that's my favorite kind of week because I don't have to ramble on about a bunch of different things. I can just give you some big stories and we can talk about those things and share together. So I'm going to start with Ben Affleck, everybody's favorite current Batman because he's the only current Batman. He was out doing promotional interviews for The Accountant, this new movie he's in where he kills people and also does their taxes, apparently. I don't really know what it's about. But, of course, he got asked about Batman because that's his life right now. And he had this to say. The movie, I think, is going to be called The Batman. At least that's what we're going with now. I might change it. We're working on the script. The script is going well. I'm really excited about it. The Batman has been rumored to be the title for the last 10 years. I mean, it seems like everybody's saying the title is going to be The Batman. It's at this point, it's so generic that I've declared it lame because everyone has said that's what the title of the movie is going to be to the point to where if that's what the title of the movie is going to be, it's going to be boring as shit. And I'm kind of hoping now they just call it Ben Affleck and the Super Friends because that will be more exciting than The Batman. Because everybody with a website has said that it's going to be called The Batman, even though no one has confirmed it, because it's the lamest, easiest title anybody could possibly come up with. So that's probably what Ben's going with, because he's going to have a lot going on. He's not going to have time to come up with new titles. He's directing it, he's starring in it, he's writing it. I think he's actually doing catering on it. So he's not going to have time to name it anything else, so they're just going to go with the Batman. It's probably just going to be a Bat logo and nothing else, because you know you're going to go watch it no matter what.
I got my money already.
Bat logo in 2018 or 19, we don't know. He was talking about why he wants to use Deathstroke as the film's primary villain, and he said, he's a great villain because I just had an instinctive feeling that he would match up with him well. You know, I'm a big admirer of that character as well, especially in the New 52, the way they did Deathstroke, and I thought that it could work. Going with Deathstroke as the main villain would be interesting, because it hasn't been done yet.
Hell yeah.
It would give him somebody new to go up against that we haven't seen in films yet. I still say Leto's going to be in it as Joker. I think the idea that was rumored about having all these different villains in it, I think is probably what's going to end up happening anyway. So it's not like we're going to get shortchanged on Joker or Riddler or anybody else. But the idea that Deathstroke is the main villain in it will be different and interesting, and I hope that that's what ends up happening. And that's about it as far as Affleck goes. We got a title. He's working on the script. We think we're looking at a 2019 release date. We're not sure. More on that as it develops. And also other movie news. What is that? Anyway, and also other movie news. This week they premiered the poster and the teaser trailer for Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. If you haven't seen the teaser for the new Pirates movie, what you need to do is you need to go and you need to watch the other 4 Pirates movies, and that's basically the teaser for this Pirates movie. What they've done is they've got Javier Bardem bad guy extraordinaire from films such as Skyfall and No Country for Old Men that he was also a bad guy in. He is, are you ready for this? He is a ghost pirate with a grudge against Jack Sparrow, who is going after some magical thing to give him powers to beat Jack Sparrow. If that sounds familiar to you, you probably watched the other 4 Pirates movies where that also happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction right now that this Pirates movie, unless some amazing footage comes out of it in the next few months, I'm going to go ahead and say right now that this Pirates movie is not going to make near as much money as any of the other Pirates movies. And the last one made $1 billion. Maybe this one will make $1 billion. I think it's not going to make it. I think it's going to make like $500 million. I think that's going to happen. What's going to happen to this movie is what happened to the last Star Trek movie, where people have no idea what to be excited about. It's not really any new territory. There's no real reason to see it. There's no real reason for it to exist except to make money. I think people are going to figure that out. And depending on what else gets released around it next summer, I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. I think it's going to make like 500, 600 million maybe, if they're lucky. But by this point, how many Pirates movies have we seen with a ghost pirate wanting revenge on Jack Sparrow? All of them have been that way. Barbossa was a ghost pirate going after Jack Sparrow. Davy Jones, ghost pirate going after Jack Sparrow. Blackbeard wasn't a ghost, really, but he might as well have been. I mean,
he had supernatural powers.
He had supernatural powers, and then he died at the end of the movie. And again, it was the same exact plot. They're going after the Fountain of Youth, or they're going after the Goddess of the Sea, or they're going after magical gold coins, or in the next one they're going after Poseidon's trident to battle over who has total control of the seas. Can someone explain to me, this takes place in the 1700s, all of this. Can someone explain to me how we as a society survived any of this? All these pirates with no moral code out in the middle of the sea, just destroying as much shit as possible, all battling over who gets to fuck Jack Sparrow in the ass. Like, how did any of us, how did America form? How did anything happen with all these evil dudes out in the ocean just destroying everything in their path, with only the yuck Jack Sparrow to save us? And as it turns out, if he's anything like Johnny Depp is in real life, he was drunk the whole time. I don't know how he managed any of this. But you'll get to see what happens next May, because I probably won't, because it again, looks like crap. Moving on to TV news, and something that doesn't completely suck. HBO premiered its $100 million monstrosity, Westworld, on Sunday night. Deidre and I actually got to watch that. It looks promising. It definitely looks like they spent $100 million on it. It's got every movie star from everything in it. Anthony Hopkins, Ed Harris, James Marsden, Jeffrey Wright. You've seen all these people in other things. Evan Rachel Wood. I can't talk today. You're going to have to edit the crap out of my segment because I'm tripping over everything. Every movie star you've ever seen in every movie is in this show. The effects are seamless. Like, you cannot tell what's CGI and what's not. It looks like a lot of practical effects, a lot of practical sets, a lot of intriguing storylines. Basically, it's about a theme park with the most realistic robots in the history of time, where human beings go to do whatever they want to these robots. They can act out the storylines, the Old West storylines that are in place, or they can just shoot, torture, do whatever they want to the robots. At the end of the day, they all get repaired, cleaned up, and put back into circulation, and you as a human being basically get to be as awesome or deplorable as you want. And the whole series is basically about the ethics of that. There's no real good guys and bad guys, but they're all very interesting, and we're getting ready, we're basically watching the robots develop sentience, and how that affects the people who run the park and the human beings in the park, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's the biggest detail I didn't know if you meant to, leave out. It's
What?
Well, just that the robots are. They think they're human, right? Or they
don't know that they're robots.
That they're in this simulation and that nothing actually lasts for them or matters.
Yes.
Or why people are mistreating them.
Their memories are erased the next day. They don't know. They know their basic programming. That's it. So no matter what happens to them, horrific or otherwise, their memories are erased the next day.
And the personality is intact.
And the personality is intact. So it's about the ethics of that and the wrong or right of that. And it's got some good people behind the scenes and some good people in front of the camera. So it's probably going to be pretty good. The first episode was excellent, and I'm curious to see what happens next. And finally, the big news that broke today. We finally got our first poster for the final Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie, and we got a title for that movie. It's just going to be called Logan, because it's basically just about, it seems as though the rumors are true, and it's just about Wolverine as he gets older. It's going to follow the Old Man Logan storyline to a certain extent. They can't do it straight up because they don't have the rights to all those Marvel characters. But basically, Wolverine survives this big apocalyptic event. He gets older and older. His healing powers aren't working quite the way they used to. And Professor X, played once again by Patrick Stewart, comes to see him to go on this journey, hopefully to regain his heroism or just die finally. But that's it. It's going to be rated R. The poster is basically just an image of his scarred up, clawed hand, and then a child's hand grabbing his hand. There's no telling what you can infer from that. Could be one of Wolverine's children. Could be some kid he finds in the street. Who knows? But it's the final Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie. And looks like they're going out with a big, bloody, R-rated, hardcore mess. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm glad we finally got a title and some kind of inclination as what the movie's going to be, because it's going to be out in March. It's not far off. So I'm pretty excited about that. With that, we will go into discussion.
Yeah.
Westworld sound. So that was the whole premise of the show that you just described. That sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
If you liked Dollhouse, you'll love Westworld.
I haven't seen Dollhouse, but
You
I
should.
do know.
Very few people have seen Dollhouse.
It's not
Yeah.
well known. It was short lived, but I really liked
Joss
it.
Whedon did Dollhouse after
Oh,
Firefly.
Oh, I know.
It was on for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Firefly, by the way,
Yes.
is just totally off topic. Just got voted the #1
Joss Whedon.
favorite short-lived series of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Does
Yeah, I
not
never
surprise me.
it doesn't surprise me at all. That's off topic. But
Anyway,
Westworld is amazing. The effects on that show are unreal. I mean, just kind of the way they show all the robots being made.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so cool.
Oh man, it's so cool. They build robot horses.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Full
that's
size.
Anthony Hopkins is in it. He's Anthony Hopkins. I think he's just playing Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
You don't get to find out much about his character.
that's all he really does anymore, play as Anthony Hopkins, so it's really...
Well, he is the mastermind. He's created all of this.
You know, I kind of thought in my head is kind of like when you described it, I kind of thought of an allegory to like Jurassic Park, and he's like John Hammond.
Old Man Hammond.
Well, Westworld is based on a movie from the 70s that was written by Michael Crichton, who wrote Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So it's a theme. Michael Crichton loves that man against nature, man against machine, man against something. Michael Crichton likes destroying mankind. So it's not surprising that you made that connection.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a really wonderful premise. So So you said there was a lot of good behind the scenes stuff. You want
Jonathan Nolan, who wrote this movie, The Dark Knight, a few years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody saw that.
it was a
a little independent movie.
Yeah. He is Christopher Nolan's brother. He also wrote on Person of Interest, which is a show I didn't watch. But it's a CBS show. It's about It's like
I don't think
a procedural almost.
very few people are watching CBS.
Well, I think quite a few people are watching CBS. I just don't know anybody that's watching Person of Interest. But I don't know what anybody that's watching NCIS either. Apparently, 14 million people are watching it. So, but yes, Jonathan Nolan wrote it, and then he actually directed the pilot. He wrote most of the episodes, from what I know. So that should be awesome.
How long was that that pilot episode? Do you know?
About an hour and 10 minutes.
Does not feel long at all.
No, it doesn't. The pace is just one thing after the other.
Wow.
Dark Knight was like that too, so it's not surprising.
Nice. So Logan is that going to?
Probably.
Is it going to follow the old man? You said it was like going to
Can't follow it. They can't follow it all the way.
Yeah, because old man Logan, that storyline was completely batshit.
Oh God, yes, that storyline was nuts.
Every report is saying that's what they're doing, and the poster has a picture of his hand with scars all over it.
Right.
So the reports are basically saying that his healing factor is slowed with age.
Right, because at that point,
James Mangold, who directed it, also released the second page of the script, which basically says that he's living with chronic pain, which has led to alcoholism. Because he never had a problem.
He never
had a problem with alcoholism before. But he makes the point that there's, it's going to be R-rated because the second page of the script has swearing and people are dying. He's going to use more realistic physics and effects. It's not going to be some big X-Men style.
It's not going to be like Apocalypse.
No, it's definitely not. It's going to be more gritty and realistic.
Have you read Old Man Logan?
I have not, but I know about it. I know Hulk's in it, and he's evil.
Yeah.
And
well, he kills Logan in the storyline. He kills
all the X-Men.
He kills like the entire Hulk family. Like the little baby's hand you see, it's a baby Hulk or whatever.
It's Hulk's son.
Hulk's son.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly.
So that's not going to happen. Because I'm assuming Fox is making this, and Fox and Marvel have that whole thing.
Right. No, Hulk's not going to be in it. Professor X, the original Old Man Logan story, I know Professor X isn't the one that recruits him. It's a blind Hawkeye.
Yeah,
it's a blind Hawkeye.
So
obviously they can't use Hawkeye.
You're right.
So
though Jeremy Renner, I'm sure would love.
Well,
it.
I'm sure he would.
But that's not happening.
But that's okay because they're going to get Patrick Stewart. To be old man Professor X, who's already old. I don't know how.
He's at this point. He's just going to be Professor X.
Yeah.
A skeleton in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Chuck, but your brains were scooped out by the Red Skull. That was a different continuity, Logan.
Yes. Because it doesn't matter what's going on. Patrick Stewart has all the answers in any reality. So.
I need you to push me faster across the wasteland.
Faster.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You
it's
just float your fucking crippled ass down the... No,
push. Because I'm a telepath, I'm a telepath, not a telekinetic.
Chair is comfortable. Any thoughts on Pirates 5?
Have you seen that? I saw the teaser trailer, and oh, wow. Yeah, it does look like every Pirates movie.
The same plot of every Pirates movie.
Because they're trying to make the same money.
Yeah.
So they don't want to lose any audience members, so they're afraid to deviate from the formula that made them money.
Well,
which will kill any franchise faster than just about anything.
Well, if you've seen if you watch the teaser, Jack Sparrow's not in it at all. It's just...
No, it's just Javier Bardem.
And it was a really funny scene, too, because, this ghost ship is attacking this other ship, and this ghost crew just comes through there, kills a whole bunch of people except for one person, and then Javier just comes on down the stairs, and he's like, he tells the survivor, I need you to find Jack Sparrow. And he tells him, like, when you see him, tell him that I'm going to come and kill him. Can you do that for me, please? And then just really cheesy and just leaves.
Everybody wants to kill Jack Sparrow.
I don't understand everybody's obsession with them.
Yeah. So
I kind of thought of it. I was just like, what if Jack Sparrow is just Tonto in the in the Lone Ranger? He just finally gets that. Immortality that he's looking for, or whatever, that prolonged life, and he's just like an old Indian telling stories about.
Well, I always thought the whole series. They keep talking about him being immortal in every movie. I always thought the whole series would end on a cut to present day, and he's Johnny Depp. He's just Johnny Depp.
He's burying
Because
amulets.
the clothes Johnny Depp wears.
Oh yeah,
Like the clothes Johnny Depp wears.
It looks just like a costume.
I
I've heard that if you probably just throw a costume at him,
that's why he's digging up necklaces or throwing in the thing. That's the
fucking desert.
He's got to hide all the treasure he's pillaged since becoming a Hollywood movie star. I don't know why he's still doing that. Seems like he's got money, but
Well, not even. Maybe not so much.
old habits die hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, if you were immortal, wouldn't you go to Hollywood and be successful and have a mansion? And
Well, we've never seen Johnny Depp as a child. He pretty much hasn't aged in 30 years anyway.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
He's-
there's a real
he's
possibility.
got like a Dorian
Copious
Gray
amounts of
thing
money
going
will
on.
do that for you.
Yeah.
So
So,
I don't know. Some people with a lot of money still don't age well.
well, you don't have to age well. if
That's
you got
because
money.
they're not doing it right.
You don't have to age well if you've got money.
Yeah.
Look at Donald Trump.
Hey, his tax returns say he had a lot of negative money, at least as far as 18 years ago.
Well, that's true. That's true.
He was like 900 million in the hole.
So the lesson
That's
here
insane.
is vote for Johnny Depp in the next presidential election.
He will never let you down.
He will never die.
Yeah.
He'll never let you down unless you marry him.
How simple will our country become if there's no more elections? Just Johnny Depp forever. So much money will be saved from campaigning.
I'll go with that. Yeah,
I can live with that.
I'll
Yeah.
go with that.
Johnny Depp for life, 2016.
That's it. Anyone else?
Mm,
All hearts and minds are free.
they sure are.
Okay. Check out the Facebook page, which will take you to the YouTube page, which will allow you to listen to the show on YouTube
And leave comments.
and
for
leave
Everett.
comments for Everett to read. Anyone who leaves a comment, Everett will read it on the show and give you his feedback, his constructive criticism on your comment.
He'll
So-
even give you some life advice.
Yep.
He'll give you any advice you want. I mean, so really, don't you want that?
The
Don't you
wisdom.
want Everett to give you life advice?
I mean, the pearls of wisdom you will receive will
Mhm.
prepare you for anything.
Yeah,
Good
but you
life
gotta listen to the whole show, though. Listen to the whole show, and then form an opinion. You got time. You got time in your day.
Just put
You're
it
not
on.
doing anything at work. I know you're not. I can see you. You're goofing off right now. So just, listen to the whole thing. You'll get a ton of information you didn't have. And when your friends who don't know about any of this stuff see a poster for Logan or whatever, you'll know stuff about it. You can be smart and be like, wow, I know things. And they will like you better. And your life will improve. You'll get promoted and you'll get laid. You will get laid by listening to our show. That is a guarantee. I'm saying it.
Just try and prove us wrong.
Try and prove us wrong. Listen to the whole
Listen
show
to them all.
and see if you don't get laid.
Try the ETN challenge.
The ETN challenge. Listen to the whole show and see if you don't get laid. We will be back next week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And see you next week.
See ya.